Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're jumping right into the profoundly poetic, yet incredibly practical maxims of thought leader Oluyomi Ola-David. We're going to unpack her core framework, which she calls Ways and Whys, to figure out exactly how her unique mindset drives actual global transformation. Look, if you've ever wondered how a simple shift in personal perspective can literally change the world around you, you are in exactly the right place. So let's just dive right in. We have to start with this absolutely powerful hook from her work. Better to find legacy than gold. I mean, in just 7 words, she completely resets our standard definition of success. She's telling us that true value lies in long-lasting impact, not just immediate shiny wealth. And honestly, this perfectly sets the tone for her entire philosophy. She isn't interested in a quick flash in the pan, she's playing the long game for humanity.
But wait, before we get too deep into her specific insights, it's absolutely crucial that we understand who she actually is, because, to really grasp the philosophy, you have to understand the philosopher and the deep-seated passion driving her.
So Oluyomi is a proudly Nigerian thought leader, and she states right up front that she just genuinely loves people. She's a dedicated advocate for global development, but she isn't just sitting on the sidelines observing. She actively generates solutions and influences global policy and strategy. And here's the real foundation of it all. Her entire worldview is grounded in her faith. She notes that her Father God owns and rules the universe. That deep spiritual grounding, combined with her love for humanity, is literally the bedrock for all of her policy work.
Okay, moving to our first major theme for today, the innovator's mindset. Let's see how she tackles problem solving from the ground up.
Right out of the gate, she drops this on us, completely flipping conventional business wisdom on its head. Better to borrow capital than ideas. Think about that. In a world where everybody is constantly obsessing over funding and securing venture capital, she's actually telling us to fiercely guard our ideas above everything else.
She argues that financial capital is, it's just a tool, right? It can be temporarily acquired from a bank or an investor. But true, transformative ideas, those have to originate from your own authentic vision. If you borrow an idea, you're essentially building your house on someone else's foundation. But if you borrow capital, you're just buying the fuel for your own fire. She places a massive, non-negotiable premium on authentic thought.
And I love this. Her action steps for generating those authentic solutions are just brilliant. She says we need to nurture solutions rather than problems. We need to ask how rather than defaulting to doubt. And my personal favorite, develop capacity rather than a headache. Honestly, complaining just gives you a headache, right? But actively choosing curiosity and asking how actually builds your capacity to change things.
So take a quick second to reflect on your own daily approach. When you hit a roadblock, are you obsessing over the problem or are you actively nurturing the solution? Her philosophy really challenges us to shift our focus toward productive outcomes. It's a tiny mental pivot, but it completely changes your trajectory.
All right, let's shift gears to theme 2, redefining true leadership. Because generating solutions is great, but eventually you have to lead people to implement them.
When she looks at leadership, her approach is distinctly, unapologetically humanitarian. Better to choose service than oppression. Now, on the surface, that might seem obvious, but she's drawing a very hard, deliberate line in the sand here between lifting people up and pushing them down.
The key takeaway here is that true policy influence, at least in her eyes, absolutely must be rooted in serving the public good. Leadership is never, ever about leveraging power to oppress or control people for personal gain. If you remember her background from earlier, her deep love for people and her faith completely drive this stance. In her framework, service is the only legitimate expression of authority. Which circles us beautifully right back to our opening hook. Are your leadership choices, whether you're at work, in your local community, or even just in your family, are they creating a lasting legacy through service? Or are you just chasing the temporary gold of status and control? She really pushes us to build something that will outlast us. That brings us to theme 3, the power of inner mastery. Here, she seamlessly connects all these outward actions right back to internal discipline.
Better to control self than others. She deeply understands that before you can even think about generating solutions for the globe, you have to master your own internal landscape first. You can't lead the world if you can't lead yourself.
Her core belief is super straightforward. Burning your energy trying to dominate the people around you is just a complete waste. Actually, worse than a waste, it's a form of oppression, which we just talked about. The ultimate source of real influence is self-control. When you master yourself, you don't even need to force others to follow you. They're just naturally drawn to your discipline and your vision.
She maps out this inward journey perfectly. First, she tells us to look within instead of constantly looking around for external validation or someone to blame. Second, seek grace rather than the carrot, meaning go after deep spiritual favor rather than endlessly chasing superficial rewards. And finally, keep faith rather than falling into arrogance, because let's face it, arrogance is just false armor. Genuine faith is true strength.
So, applying her vision to global transformation. How does all this highly personal inner work actually scale up to change the globe?
Well, look at how the dots connect here. It's like a giant puzzle coming together. Her personal maxims aren't just pretty poetry. They're a highly strategic foundation. Her inner faith is the exact engine driving her outward love for people. Her rigorous self-control is what enables her to craft such clear, unclouded policy strategies. By waking up every day and nurturing solutions instead of staring at problems, she directly influences global transformation. And her unwavering focus on legacy, that's what ensures the development she advocates for is actually sustainable. She proves, without a doubt, that worldwide shifts have to start with strict individual mindset shifts.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this one thought. The globe isn't some abstract concept. It's just a massive collection of individuals. If you want to change it, you literally have to start with yourself. Think about how adopting just one of her mindsets today, like choosing capacity over a headache or legacy over gold, could profoundly change the way you impact the people around you. So which of Oluyomi Oladevid's ways and whys are you going to choose today to transform your own world? Thanks so much for joining me, and keep nurturing those solutions.